Hello from Mindset Daily, wishing you a day full of health, peace, and happiness. Thank you for watching the Mindset Daily channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe to support us. Thank you so much.
Have you ever wondered why some people remain calm when everything seems to fall apart? Why do they seem to turn fear into trust and worry into peace so effortlessly? And most importantly, what would your life feel like if you learned to think the same way? It's not magic, and it's not pretending. It's a mindset, a habit that makes life feel lighter and flow with more ease. And yes, you can learn it too. When you begin expecting good things, your energy shifts. You feel better, you act better, and life often reflects that belief. Imagine waking up with calm, not because everything is perfect, but because you've made peace with its imperfections. There's no rush to fix every detail. Instead of panic or pressure, you trust the process. You believe that even with twists and setbacks, life is still leading you in the right direction. This calm doesn't come from being naive. It comes from a choice, a quiet decision to face each day with trust over fear. And when you start living this way, something changes inside you. You stop obsessing over outcomes and begin focusing on how you show up. Your words, your energy, your kindness. These become your priorities. When you give more than you expect in return, life starts to feel softer. Even difficult moments begin to carry meaning. Even silence feels like preparation for something greater. You move with a quiet strength, not arrogance, but steady confidence. And in those moments, you believe, I can handle this. That kind of energy doesn't ask for attention. It draws people naturally. Others naturally feel safe around someone who isn't forcing everything into place. Someone who can breathe through chaos and trust that discomfort has a purpose. Even when the road isn't straight, they know it's still leading them where they're meant to go. And when challenges arrive, as they always do, you don't collapse. You adjust. You move forward instead of clinging to the past. Hard times stop looking like punishment and start becoming opportunities to grow. Your questions shift from, why is this happening to me? To, what is this teaching me? That single change in perspective gives you strength. You're no longer a victim of circumstance. You're the one choosing how to respond. You take things one step at a time. You respect your process. This resilience doesn't shout, and it doesn't need to. It shows itself in small, quiet moments. When you keep moving with no one watching, when you find beauty in simple things, when you extend kindness to yourself on uncertain days. It's a quiet strength born not from avoiding storms, but from staying centered within them. Built through experience, practice, and patience, it becomes your foundation. And as you live from this place, something shifts. Peace begins to take root, not because everything is perfect, but because you've stopped resisting reality. You learn to dance with the unknown instead of fearing it. And in that space, a powerful truth emerges. Your mindset shapes your reality. When you believe life is working with you, not against you, you stop waiting for things to get easier. You rise to meet each moment as it comes. You stop needing certainty and begin finding freedom and trust. Real transformation doesn't start with dramatic changes, but with the small daily decision to believe, even in hard times, that you are exactly where you're meant to be. You start trusting your journey, even when the path isn't clear. You release the urge to control everything and instead show up with faith, grace, and strength. That steady belief becomes your anchor. It won't make life perfect, but it makes you stronger, calmer, and more present, and that changes everything. Focus shapes your future. Your thoughts carry more power than you realize. They influence how you see the world and what you attract. Like a magnet, your mindset quietly pulls in people, events, and opportunities that match it. If your mind stays on fear, doubt, or what could go wrong, you'll notice more problems than possibilities. You'll feel stuck, as if your dreams are always out of reach. But the moment you shift your thoughts, even slightly, everything begins to change. Start by believing that what you want is not only possible, but already making its way to you. That belief lays a solid foundation for action. You move with more confidence and purpose. You may even smile more, not because life is flawless, but because you're learning to trust the process. Your energy shifts, your body language changes, and people notice. The world responds to this new version of you. You begin asking better questions. Instead of wondering, what if everything goes wrong? You start asking, what if this works out better than I ever imagined? That simple shift opens doors rather than closing them. This isn't about pretending problems don't exist. It's about refusing to let them define your story. It's about focusing on possibilities, even in difficult moments. When you look for opportunity, you'll begin to see it. When you look for growth, you'll realize how even past struggles have taught you something valuable. The truth is, the way you think becomes the filter through which you see everything. That filter matters. If you focus only on failure, that's what you'll continue to find. But if you focus on learning and progress, you begin to see how every mistake helped you grow, how delays may have protected you, and how one closed door could lead to something even better. Your future isn't just something that happens to you. You build it, step by step, thought by thought. What you repeat in your mind eventually becomes your reality. If you constantly dwell on fear, scarcity, or worst-case scenarios, that becomes your emotional home. But you can choose to think differently. You can shift toward clarity, purpose, and the belief that good things are ahead. This doesn't require anyone's approval. You don't need permission to believe in yourself. All it takes is the awareness of where your thoughts are going. And if they drift in the wrong direction, gently guide them back. At first, it may feel uncomfortable. It may take time. But every time you shift from fear to hope, you're shaping a better future. You're training your mind to look for light in dark places, to ask better questions, and to find new paths instead of dead ends. Eventually, this way of thinking becomes part of you. Not someone who never feels fear, but someone who refuses to let fear take control. Someone who has hard days, but doesn't let them define their life. Someone who chooses to see what's good, what's possible, and what's next. That choice, made again and again, is what separates a life of constant reaction from a life built with vision. Your thoughts are the starting point. Choose them wisely, and they'll take you where you want to go. 3. Set goals with purpose. Having goals is important, but goals alone are never enough. You could write down dozens of things you want to do. You can set goals like getting a new job, making more money, or hitting a milestone. But if those goals aren't tied to something meaningful, they won't last. The moment life gets tough, and it will, surface-level goals won't keep you going. Motivation fades, problems appear, and you'll feel the urge to quit. But when your goals are rooted in purpose, they gain strength. Purpose gives them life. It turns them into more than a checklist. It makes them matter deeply to you. There's a big difference between chasing a goal and living out a vision. Anyone can say, I want to be successful, or I want to earn more. But the real question is, why? What's driving you? Saying, I want to make more money might get you started, but it likely won't be enough when challenges come. Now imagine saying, I want to earn more so I can take care of my family, have freedom, and support the people I love. That's a goal with heart. That's not just about money. It's about values, identity, and the life you want to build. And that's powerful. When your goals are tied to purpose, they act like a compass. They keep you steady even when you feel lost. You don't need to chase bursts of motivation, because purpose gives you a lasting reason to keep going. Motivation comes and goes, but purpose is steady. It's like a small flame that stays lit even on your hardest days. When you think about quitting, it doesn't feel like giving up on a task. It feels like abandoning something deeply important. That's why it's so hard to walk away. Deep down, you know this path matters. You know it's part of who you are. Purpose-driven goals also push you to be honest with yourself. They ask you to look beyond the lifestyle you want and think about the kind of person you are becoming. What do you want your life to stand for? What brings you pride, joy, and a sense of meaning? These questions aren't always easy, but they shape goals that truly last. Goals that make you stronger, more focused, and more committed. The beauty of purpose-driven goals is that they grow with you. They aren't fixed or rigid. As you evolve, your goals can shift too. What once felt like a big dream might later become just the starting point of something greater. You stop chasing a single destination and start building a path that reflects who you are becoming. That clarity changes everything. You begin showing up differently, not because you're forced, but because it feels right. You're no longer trying to prove yourself. You're simply living in alignment with your values. So create goals that matter deeply to you. Goals that get you out of bed with energy, not stress. Goals that make you proud, even when progress is slow. Because when your goals carry purpose, you don't need to push yourself constantly. You feel naturally pulled toward them. And that pull, that sense of purpose, is stronger than anything life can throw at you. 4. Build daily resilience. Resilience isn't something you're born with or reserved for a select few. It's built over time by facing hard moments, falling down, and standing back up. It grows every time you keep going, especially when life feels heavy or unfair. It's easy to move forward when everything is smooth, but your true strength shows when nothing is going right, when plans collapse, and giving up seems easier than holding on. Resilience is forged not in easy times, but in the hard moments when you choose to try again. You don't need to be the most talented, the smartest, or the luckiest to build a strong life. You only need to be the one who refuses to give up, even when it's messy, even when it hurts. Resilience means getting back up, not perfectly, not joyfully every time, but with purpose. Life won't wait until you feel ready before testing you. Problems will come. Challenges will shake you. And when they do, what carries you isn't success or skill. It's the decision to keep moving. It's that quiet voice inside saying, "This isn't the end for me." Think of resilience like the roots of a tree. You can't see them, but they're what keep it standing strong through fierce winds. Your inner strength works the same way. It holds you steady when life tries to push you down. And like roots, it takes time to grow. You build resilience slowly, through experience, by showing up again and again, even when you don't feel ready. It's not glamorous, and no one may cheer you on, but it matters. Each small choice to move forward makes you stronger. Resilience doesn't mean pretending everything is fine or ignoring pain. Real strength honors your feelings. It allows rest. It accepts sadness. But it doesn't end there. It whispers, feel what you need, take the pause, and then rise again. You don't need to move fast, just forward. One small step, one quiet choice, one steady breath. That's how true resilience is built, little by little. You don't need to wait for the perfect time to begin. Life rarely hands you the ideal moment. Resilience grows in the messy, uncertain spaces when nothing feels clear. Show up anyway, even when you're tired, even when you're unsure. Those are the moments that matter most. Each small act of courage, even when unseen, strengthens your foundation. One day, you'll look back and realize the times you nearly quit but didn't are the ones that shaped you most. Not because you had all the answers, but because you stayed and kept moving through the storm. That strength becomes yours forever. It doesn't shout or demand attention, but it runs deep. It builds slowly through your hardest days. And with every test life throws at you, your resilience grows stronger. So keep going. If all you can do today is take one step, take it. If your voice trembles, speak. If you're afraid, show up anyway. That's how resilience is built. It's not created in big moments, but in the daily choice to begin again, to stay grounded even when the wind blows. You don't have to be perfect. You only have to keep choosing not to quit. 5. Self-belief is everything. Without it, nothing else truly works. You can have wise mentors, smart strategies, and all the tools you need. But if you don't trust yourself, things will fall apart. Belief is what helps you take the first step. It keeps you moving when the path is unclear. Without it, hesitation creeps in. Overthinking holds you back. Even the best opportunities can feel out of reach if you don't believe you deserve them. No matter how skilled or prepared you are, if the voice in your head whispers you're not enough, progress will always feel heavy. But believing in yourself doesn't mean acting perfect or shouting confidence. Most of the time, it's quiet. It's the small voice inside that says, "I can figure this out." It doesn't mean you know exactly how everything will unfold. It means you trust that you'll learn what you need along the way. Even if it's something you've never done before, you believe you're capable of trying. That mindset changes everything. It turns fear into courage and challenges into opportunities. But self-belief doesn't just appear overnight. You build it like a muscle. And just as muscles grow with effort and time, self-belief grows through practice. Each time you show up when it's hard, every promise you keep to yourself, no matter how small, builds trust. Those small wins stack up. You begin to see your own strength. Not because someone handed it to you, but because you earned it. You've kept going through hard times. You've gotten back up after falling. Now, you know what you're capable of. That confidence is powerful. When you stop needing approval from others, you take back your power. You no longer wait for someone to give you a chance. You create your own. You don't need everyone to believe in you. You just need to believe in yourself enough to take the next step. Enough to try even when you're scared. Enough to stay when things get tough. That belief becomes the fuel that keeps you moving, especially when life doesn't go as planned. Of course, fear will still be there. Doubt will still show up. But believing in yourself doesn't mean never being afraid. It means acting anyway. It means trusting yourself more than your fear. It means pushing forward, even when it's hard, because you already know what giving up feels like. You've decided not to go back to that old story. You're writing a new one now. One where your steps reflect your true potential, where you take chances because you know they matter. You speak kindly to yourself, the way you would to a friend. You don't need to feel brave every moment to believe in yourself. You just need to be willing to try, to learn, to fail, and to keep moving forward. That's how real self-belief is built, not from easy wins, but from showing up when it's difficult. And once you carry that kind of belief, very little can stop you. Not because you have all the answers, but because you've chosen to fully support yourself without apology. And that choice changes everything. 6. Pursue passion relentlessly. Passion isn't just a fleeting emotion or a spark of inspiration. It's the heartbeat of a meaningful life. It's what pulls you forward when logic says stop. It's what gets you out of bed with purpose, even when life feels heavy. Passion isn't always loud. Sometimes it's a quiet certainty, a knowing that you were made for more than just going through the motions. And when you tap into it, when you stop brushing it aside or saving it for someday, something shifts. Your days gain momentum, your decisions gain clarity, and life begins to fit in a way that feels right. The truth is, we often treat passion like a luxury, something to be indulged in only after the bills are paid, the duties are done, and the fear quiets down. But passion isn't a bonus. It's the fuel that makes everything else worth carrying. It's what transforms routine into rhythm. And if you're fortunate enough to feel that pull, to sense something out there that lights you up, don't ignore it. That spark isn't random. It's a signal, a compass pointing towards something real, something meant for you. Yes, following passion is hard, often harder than playing it safe. It won't promise comfort or certainty. It may demand risks. It may mean failing publicly or starting over more than once. But what it gives back is worth every ounce of struggle. It gives your life meaning. It turns effort into purpose. It brings joy not only in success, but in the act of trying itself. Because when you care deeply about what you're doing, even the hard parts hold value. You're no longer working just to get through the day. You're building something that matters to you. And no, you don't need every step mapped out before you begin. You don't need more time, more confidence, or someone's permission. You need only one thing, a reason. And passion may be the best reason you'll ever find. It won't guarantee the outcome, but it will give you the courage to start. And beginning is where everything shifts, where ideas become action and potential becomes progress. The beauty of passion is that it doesn't demand perfection. You don't need to be the best. You only need to be honest. Honest about what stirs you, what excites you, what refuses to leave you alone no matter how many times you push it aside. Passion doesn't always roar like fireworks. Sometimes it's a steady flame, asking you to keep feeding it, to keep showing up, even when it's slow, even when it's quiet. Especially then, because the alternative, living without that fire, is its own kind of risk. A life spent numb, a life spent waiting. What kind of life is that? Responsibility matters, stability matters, but so does aliveness. So does joy. So does waking up with something to reach for, something that stretches you. You deserve that. You were built for that. So write the book, build the project, learn the skill, whatever it is you've been holding back. Let it move from idea to action. Not because it's easy, but because it's worth it. Passion isn't a distraction from life. It's what gives it color. And when you follow it, you don't just discover success, you discover yourself. 7. Adapt and evolve daily. Life never stops moving. It shifts, twists, and reshapes itself constantly. Ready or not, it keeps going. If you try to meet it with rigidity, you'll be left behind. Change doesn't wait for comfort. It doesn't ask for permission. It comes on its own terms, sometimes gently, often not. The people who move forward aren't the ones who resist change. They're the ones who work with it. They observe, adjust, and realign. They know that growth isn't only about pushing harder. It's about moving smarter. It's about letting go of what no longer serves you and picking up new tools, new perspectives, and new ways of being. Adaptability isn't weakness. It's one of the greatest strengths you can build. It doesn't mean abandoning your vision. It means staying committed to the outcome while remaining flexible in the approach. Life rarely unfolds as planned. Opportunities shift. People change. And if you're stuck in how things should be, you'll miss the power of what they could become. Adaptability keeps you open. It keeps you light on your feet, ready to pivot when the path demands it. It turns obstacles into redirection, setbacks into setups. Think about nature. The strongest trees aren't the ones that resist the wind. They're the ones that bend with it. They sway, they shift, they yield when they must, but they don't break. That's the power of adaptability. It's not about avoiding storms. It's about knowing how to stand through them. It's the quiet strength that says, "This wasn't the plan, but I'll make a new one." It's the courage to keep moving, even if you must move differently. There's freedom in learning to adapt. You stop fearing change because you trust your ability to respond. Instead of clinging to the old version of yourself or your path, you begin flowing with where life is calling you. Adaptability gives you resilience without resistance. It transforms change from a threat into a teacher. Every time you adjust instead of panic, you grow mentally, emotionally, and strategically. But adaptation doesn't mean shifting constantly out of fear. It means staying grounded in your values while exploring new ways to express them. It's a dance between holding on to your purpose and releasing your plan. The most successful people aren't the ones with flawless blueprints. They're the ones who stay curious, who ask, "What's working now? How can I do this better?" They learn, they listen, they refine. By doing so, they remain relevant, creative, and always in motion. Every day brings a chance to evolve, sometimes in small ways, like a better habit or new perspective, and sometimes in bold ways, like a fresh start or daring decision. Either way, it's movement. It's life inviting you to participate in your own transformation. And the more you say yes to that, the more confident you become in facing what's next. So don't fear change. Don't resist it simply because it feels unfamiliar. Let it shape you. Let it sharpen you. The more flexible you are, the less life can shake you. In time, you'll realize adaptability doesn't just help you survive change. It's what allows you to thrive in it. Embrace lifelong learning. The most limiting belief you can carry is thinking you already know enough. That mindset doesn't just block growth. It quietly pulls you backward. Because the moment you stop being a student of life, you drift into complacency. Learning isn't something you outgrow, nor does it end when diplomas are framed or degrees are earned. That's only the launch pad. Real learning begins when you recognize how much you don't know and how much more there is to uncover. Life never stops teaching. Every conversation, every mistake, every victory, every setback is feedback. The ones who rise above the noise are those who stay open. Open to new perspectives. Open to being wrong. Open to asking better questions instead of pretending to have all the answers. They don't let ego drive. They let curiosity lead. They understand that growth requires humility, the kind that sees not knowing as an invitation, not a weakness. The world is changing faster than ever. Skills that were cutting edge 5 years ago are now just the baseline. Entire industries shift, new tools appear, and new ways of thinking take root. If you want not only to keep up, but also stay sharp and inspired, you must keep learning. And not passively. You must pursue it, care about it. Not because someone told you to, but because you want to bring your best into the world, to stretch your mind, your craft, and your impact. Think about it. Every strength you now have was once a weakness. Every confident moment in work, relationships, or how you carry yourself began with not knowing. The only thing that turned that gap into confidence was your willingness to learn. That willingness is the foundation for everything else you'll build. When you commit to growth, you don't just gain skills, you expand your capacity. You begin to think differently. You start seeing opportunities where you once saw limits. But let's be real, learning isn't always glamorous. It's not always exciting. Sometimes it's slow, frustrating, even messy. Sometimes it means doing things badly before you can do them well. But it's worth it. The people who commit to learning daily, even in small ways, are the ones who grow while others remain stuck. It doesn't have to be a massive leap, 10 pages of a book, a new conversation, or a challenge you've never faced before. It's not about volume. It's about consistency, about showing up for your future with the same energy you give your goals. Because when you stop learning, you stop expanding. You settle for what you already know. You begin relying on outdated tools, old mindsets, and habits that once served you but no longer push you forward. And settling isn't what you were made for. You were built to evolve, to discover just how capable you are, to surprise yourself, To look back 6 months from now and barely recognize the person you once were. The path to your next breakthrough is paved with questions, curiosity, and courage. So stay open, stay humble, stay hungry. Don't let the world outgrow you because you stopped investing in yourself. Make growth part of your daily rhythm, not a task, but a way of life. Ask yourself each day, what will I learn today? Then go find the answer. Time is the one thing you'll never get back. It doesn't pause, rewind, or wait for clarity. Once it's gone, it's gone. Yet it's so easy to forget how valuable it really is. We trade it carelessly, 5 minutes here, an hour there, as if it were endless. But it isn't. You can always earn more money, meet new people, or rebuild what was lost, but you can never reclaim yesterday. That's what makes time the most precious currency you hold. The real question is, are you spending it like it truly matters? Most people move through the day reacting to distractions, obligations, and the demands of others. They say they're busy, overwhelmed, out of time. But the truth is, they haven't taken ownership of it. You don't need more hours in a day. You need to claim the ones you already have. Decide with intention how you want to spend them. Because if you don't, someone else will. And slowly, without realizing it, your days start to belong to everything except what truly matters to you. Think about how carefully you'd spend money if you had only a limited amount. You'd track it, plan for it, and think twice before giving it away. Now imagine treating your time the same way, guarding it with awareness and discipline. Every hour wasted on something that drains or distracts you is an hour you can't spend creating, connecting, or resting. That's momentum you've handed away. The answer isn't cramming more into your schedule, but getting clear on what matters most and making space for it. Not every day needs to be packed. It needs to be lived with purpose. That means saying no to what pulls you from your priorities and building in time to rest, reflect, and recharge, not as a luxury, but as a necessity. Real productivity isn't about being busy every second. It's about being effective, focused, and present. When you begin to manage time this way, everything shifts. You stop chasing the clock. You stop ending each day wondering where the hours went. Life no longer feels like something happening to you. You begin to shape it, to lead it. Your days become building blocks of meaning, not just containers to fill. You begin to gain momentum, not just movement, progress, not just activity. Each morning becomes a fresh deposit in your time account. And when you ask yourself, what truly matters today, you notice how much energy you've been giving to things that don't. Slowly, you start prioritizing differently, acting differently, living differently. You trade distraction for depth, noise for clarity, and rush for rhythm. This is how you create a life of intention, one day, one choice at a time. Not by doing everything, but by focusing on the right things, the ones that move you closer to the life you want. So pay attention. Be deliberate, because how you spend your time is how you spend your life. And your life deserves more than leftovers. It deserves your focus and your presence. It begins with treating your time as the most valuable thing you have, because it is. 10. Cultivate inner discipline. Discipline is the force that carries you forward when motivation fades. It steps in when the mood is gone, when excitement wears off, when everything feels heavy. It's easy to act when the vision is clear and energy is high. But the days that shape you most are the ones when you don't feel like it, and you do it anyway. Discipline isn't loud or flashy. It doesn't seek attention. It works quietly, building a life that doesn't depend on bursts of inspiration. It's tempting to romanticize success, to imagine it built on breakthroughs and sparks of genius. But look closely at anyone who has built something lasting, and you'll see discipline at the core. It's the common thread. It's what keeps some people showing up while others keep restarting. And the difference isn't luck, talent, or willpower. It's commitment. It's habit. It's a choice repeated so often that it becomes who you are. Discipline is where self-trust begins. You begin to gain momentum, not just movement, but real progress. Each morning becomes a fresh deposit in your time account. And when you pause to ask, what truly matters today, you start noticing how much you've been giving away to things that don't. From there, your priorities shift. You act differently. You live differently. You begin trading distraction for depth, noise for clarity, and rush for rhythm. That's how you create a life of intention, one choice, one day at a time. It isn't about doing more, but about doing what matters, the actions that pull you closer to the life you want. So pay attention. Be deliberate, because how you spend your time is how you spend your life. And your life deserves more than scraps. It deserves your full focus and presence. It begins with treating time as the most valuable thing you own, because it is. 10. Cultivate inner discipline. Discipline is the force that carries you forward when motivation fades. It steps in when the excitement wears off, when things feel heavy, when nothing is inspiring. It's easy to move when energy is high and everything clicks, but what defines you are the days when you don't feel like it, and you do it anyway. Discipline isn't loud. It doesn't shout for attention. It works quietly in the background, shaping a life that doesn't depend on fleeting inspiration. We often romanticize success, imagining it as bursts of genius or lucky breaks. But look closely at those who've built something lasting, and you'll find discipline at the center. It's the common thread. The reason some people keep showing up while others keep restarting. And the difference isn't luck, talent, or willpower. It's commitment, habit, and a decision made again and again until it becomes who you are. Discipline is where self-trust begins. You start to gain momentum, not just movement, but real progress. Each morning feels like a new deposit in your time account. And when you ask yourself, what truly matters today, you realize how much you've been giving to things that don't. From that moment, you begin to prioritize differently, act differently, live differently. You trade distraction for depth, noise for clarity, and rush for rhythm. That's how you create a life of intention, one choice, one day at a time. Not by doing everything, but by focusing on what matters most, the steps that carry you closer to the life you want. So pay attention. Be deliberate, because how you spend your time is how you spend your life. And your life deserves more than leftovers. It deserves focus, presence, and intention. It begins by treating your time as the most valuable thing you have, because it is. 10. Cultivate inner discipline. Discipline is the force that carries you when motivation fades. It shows up when the mood is gone, when energy is low, when the weight feels heavy. It's easy to act when the path is clear and excitement runs high. But the days that shape you most are the ones when you don't feel like it, and you do it anyway. Discipline isn't loud or flashy. It doesn't demand attention. It works quietly, building a life that doesn't rely on bursts of inspiration. We often imagine success as sudden breakthroughs or strokes of genius. But if you look closely at anyone who has built something lasting, you'll find discipline at the core. It's the thread that ties it all together. The reason some keep showing up while others keep starting over. And the difference isn't luck, talent, or willpower. It's commitment, habit, and the decision repeated until it becomes who you are. Discipline is where self-trust begins. Every time something doesn't work, you learn, you grow, you get better. The key is to focus on what you can do today, not tomorrow, not next week. One small step. Maybe it's writing a paragraph. Maybe it's taking a walk. Don't wait for life to get easier. Don't wait to feel more ready. Action creates readiness. The more you do, the more capable you feel. Confidence isn't built by thinking, but by doing. Consistency matters more than speed. You don't need to rush or be perfect. You just need to keep showing up. Keep moving. Keep trying. The more you show up, the more you prove to yourself that you can. That's how trust is built, not just with others, but with yourself. That's how resilience forms, not by avoiding struggle, but by facing it. And the more you keep going, the more life begins to open up. Opportunities come. Lessons appear. Progress becomes visible. You realize clarity doesn't arrive before action. It comes because of it. You figure things out as you go. You adjust, you learn, and you grow into the person you want to become by taking action first. There's no shortcut, no secret formula, but one powerful truth. Movement changes things. So stop waiting for perfect conditions. They don't exist. Start where you are. Do what you can. Take one step today, even if it's small, especially if it's small. Those small steps add up. They create something real. One action at a time, you build the life you want. And that life begins now, not with a flawless plan, but with one bold decision to begin. 12. Visualize with intention. If you can see something clearly in your mind, you're already one step closer to making it real. That's the simple truth behind the power of visualization. It's not just daydreaming or wishing. It's about seeing your future so vividly that it feels real before it even happens. The most successful people, athletes, actors, business leaders, all share this habit. Before they ever won the race, gave the speech, or closed the deal, they saw it first in their minds. They pictured themselves doing it over and over. And because they saw it so clearly, when the moment came, they were ready. Your brain is more powerful than you think. It doesn't truly distinguish between something deeply imagined and something already experienced. That means when you picture yourself giving a presentation, starting a business, or running a marathon, your mind begins to treat that image as a memory. It builds belief that it's possible. And once you believe, you start to act like it. You make choices differently. You walk with confidence. You show up in ways that attract the very outcomes you want. Visualization isn't just a nice idea, it's a tool. And the best part? It's simple. You don't need hours or special training. Just a few quiet minutes a day. Sit still. Close your eyes. Take a breath. See the life you want. Imagine yourself already living it. What does it look like? What does it feel like? Picture the smile on your face when it happens. Feel the peace, the excitement, the confidence. That small daily practice begins to rewire your thinking. You start expecting good things instead of fearing the worst. You focus on the outcome you want, not on everything that could go wrong. And that shift in mindset changes everything. Visualization isn't pretending, it's practicing. Just like a musician rehearses a song or an athlete runs drills, you're rehearsing success in your mind. You're building a roadmap your brain can follow. So when the real moment arrives, it feels familiar. You're not caught off guard. You've already been there in your imagination. But make no mistake, visualization doesn't replace the work. You still have to show up. What it does is strengthen your actions with clear direction. It sharpens your focus. When obstacles appear, that vision pulls you forward. It reminds you why you started and what's possible. Think about it. Before any building rises, there's always a blueprint, a plan, a guide to follow. Visualization is your personal blueprint. It gives your goals shape, and that shape begins to attract resources, ideas, people, and opportunities because your mind is tuned to the life you're creating. So start today. Even if it's just 5 minutes before bed or right when you wake up, close your eyes, take a breath, and see it. See yourself healthy, happy, proud of the life you're building. Feel that future version of you guiding your steps. Because once you see it clearly, you're already on the path. 13. Own your self-talk. The most powerful conversation you'll ever have is the one you have with yourself. It plays quietly all day long, in your thoughts and in the words you never speak aloud. Yet that voice shapes everything. It can push you forward or hold you back. The way you speak to yourself becomes the way you see yourself, and the way you see yourself becomes the life you create. If your mind is always whispering, "I'm not good at this," or "this will never work," those words begin to feel like truth. And slowly, those words turn into your truth. Not because they're real, but because you've repeated them so many times that you started to believe them. Words have power, not just the ones spoken to others, but especially the ones whispered to yourself when no one is listening. Those quiet doubts and tough moments leave a mark. But here's the good news. Just as you once learned to speak harshly to yourself, you can learn to speak with kindness. You can rewrite the story. You can shift the way you respond when life gets hard. It doesn't mean ignoring struggle or pretending everything is fine. It means giving yourself the chance to see things in a different light. When that inner voice says, "I can't do this," try asking, "What if I can figure it out?" When it says, "This is too much," try answering, "Maybe it's hard because it matters." You don't have to be perfect to speak with hope. You don't need all the answers. You just need to practice catching yourself when you're being unfair and offering something better. Something more honest. Something more kind. Because the truth is, you're with yourself every moment of every day. You can't escape your own voice, but you can guide it. You can train it to be gentle, supportive, and helpful instead of destructive. Think of someone you love deeply who's struggling. Would you tear them down? Of course not. You'd remind them of what they've already overcome. You'd speak to their strength, not their weakness. That's exactly how you should speak to yourself. Not to fake confidence, but to grow it. Your inner voice is your responsibility. No one else can control it or change it for you. It will either become your biggest cheerleader or your harshest critic, and the choice is yours. It may feel awkward at first, but the more you practice speaking with kindness, the more natural it becomes. The more you support yourself with words of hope, the stronger you'll feel in your actions. You don't need bold declarations to change your life. Sometimes it's as simple as saying, "I'm doing the best I can. It's okay to start small," or "I'm learning as I go." These simple words add up. They shift your mindset and create space for progress. So pay attention to how you speak to yourself. Guide that voice. Shape it. Be the one who lifts yourself up, especially when life feels heavy. The world will challenge you, but your own voice doesn't have to. Let it be the one thing that always stands by your side. 14. Practice daily gratitude. Gratitude is more than saying thank you. It's a way of seeing the world. It's a quiet strength that shapes how you think, how you feel, and how you show up each day. When you start noticing what's already good in your life instead of obsessing over what's missing, something inside begins to shift. You don't feel as rushed or as empty. You begin to feel full, even if nothing around you has changed. That's the power of gratitude. It's easy to focus on what's wrong, on what's missing, on what's hard. We've all been there. The stress, the pressure, the feeling that nothing is ever enough. But gratitude softens that edge. It reminds you that even when things aren't perfect, they're not all bad either. You may not have everything you want, but you probably have more than you think. A warm place to sleep, a kind word from a friend, a moment of peace in a busy day. These small things are easy to miss, yet they matter. Gratitude doesn't mean pretending life is perfect or ignoring your struggles. It means looking at your life and choosing to also see what's good, even if it's just one small thing. Even the simple fact that you're here, breathing, growing, and able to choose your next step is a gift. Gratitude helps you notice joy in unexpected places. The warmth of the sun on your face, the comfort of a soft blanket, the sound of laughter. You stop waiting for happiness to arrive someday and begin to realize it's already right in front of you. You just needed to slow down enough to see it. And here's the best part. Gratitude makes you stronger. It doesn't erase your problems, but it clears your mind so you can face them differently. A thankful heart searches for solutions instead of staying stuck in struggle. You feel more patient, more hopeful, and you begin to think, maybe I can handle this after all. One simple way to practice gratitude is to write it down. Each morning, name 3 things you're thankful for. They don't need to be big. It could be your morning tea, a good night's sleep, or simply the chance to begin again. What matters is the habit, the training of your mind to focus on what's right. Over time, your thoughts feel lighter, your mood steadier, and your heart more open. Gratitude isn't magic, but it creates real change. When your mind fills with appreciation, there's less space for fear, less space for stress, less space for the feeling of falling behind. You start to see that life isn't about having everything. It's about noticing what you already have and making the most of it. So keep your eyes open. Look for what's good. Speak it. Write it. Feel it. Gratitude is simple, yet powerful. It brings peace in the middle of chaos and reminds you that even on the hardest days, there is still light. And when you live with that awareness, everything begins to shift. Not because life is perfect, but because your perspective is. 15. Reframe every obstacle. Obstacles are a natural part of life. No matter who you are or what you're working toward, challenges will come. Plans fall apart, progress slows down, and things don't always unfold the way you hoped. But that doesn't mean you've failed. It means you've been given the chance to grow. What feels like a roadblock is often a redirection, guiding you somewhere better and deeper. Obstacles ask you to pause, adjust, and rise stronger than before. Yes, it's easy to feel discouraged, even to wonder if the goal is worth it. But here's the truth. Obstacles don't arrive to stop you. They arrive to shape you. They test your drive, your focus, your ability to keep going when it's not easy. In those moments, you face a choice. Will you see the problem as the end or as the beginning of something new? The people who grow, who rise, who become stronger, are the ones who choose to see the lesson inside the struggle. Every setback carries something useful, a skill to learn, a mindset to shift, a belief about yourself that needs to change. The obstacle isn't just in your way. It's part of the way. That shift in perspective can change everything. Suddenly, you're not just enduring problems. You're using them to move forward. Think back to a time when you felt stuck, frustrated, or lost. Maybe it seemed like the worst thing in the world then. But looking back, can you see how it helped you grow? How it taught you something vital about yourself, about others, about life? That's not just chance. That's life doing what it does best, helping you grow through the hard stuff. So the next time you hit a wall, pause before you panic. Ask yourself, what is this here to teach me? The answer may not come right away. Sometimes it takes time to see the lesson. But just asking the question opens the door to growth instead of closing it. It helps you stay grounded when everything feels uncertain. Reframing obstacles doesn't mean pretending they're easy. It means choosing to see their value. Setbacks aren't the opposite of success. They're part of it. Everyone who has ever achieved something meaningful has walked through hard moments. What set them apart wasn't luck or talent, but the decision to keep moving. When you start to treat challenges as fuel instead of failure, you become unstoppable. You stop waiting for perfect conditions. You stop letting fear decide. Instead, you use the struggle to build strength, to gain clarity, to grow into someone who can handle even more. Life will always bring obstacles, that's a guarantee. But whether they break you or build you, that's your choice. Use the hard times. Let them shape you. Let them teach you. Because the moment you stop seeing obstacles as the end, you realize they're really the beginning of something greater. 16. Align with your values. There's a quiet discomfort that settles in when your life doesn't match what matters most. On the outside, you might be succeeding, checking off goals, making progress, even receiving praise. But inside, something feels off. That unease often comes from living out of alignment with your values. True peace, the kind that lasts, doesn't come from achievements alone. It comes from knowing your choices reflect who you really are. You can't feel whole if your actions pull you away from your heart. That's why alignment matters. It's not about perfection, it's about honesty. It begins with clarity. Ask yourself, is this true to me? What do you stand for? What do you care about most? Maybe it's honesty. Maybe it's freedom, love, purpose, growth, or kindness. Your values are the foundation. They're the inner compass that guides you through the world with confidence and peace. Once you're clear on what matters, take a closer look at how you're living. Are your choices lining up with your values? Does your work reflect your beliefs? Do the people around you bring out your best? Are your habits helping you grow, or quietly holding you back? These questions may be uncomfortable, but they're necessary. The longer you live out of alignment, the more drained you'll feel, not just in your body, but in your spirit. But when your actions and values match, everything shifts. Life won't always be easy, but it will feel right. You'll stop second-guessing decisions because they're rooted in something solid. You won't need to prove yourself because you'll already know you're living in a way that makes sense to you. That's the gift of alignment. It brings you back to yourself. It also helps you release what doesn't belong. When you're clear on what matters, you stop chasing what doesn't. You stop saying yes to things that leave you empty. Instead, you begin to build a life that feels meaningful. You choose what nourishes your values, not what just looks good on the outside. That's not selfish, it's self-respect. And from that place, a quiet strength grows. It's not about being the best in the room. It's about walking with a sense of truth, knowing you are who you say you are. That kind of integrity brings peace. Not because you've solved everything, but because you've chosen to live with intention. Alignment won't remove life's challenges, but it will give you strength to face them. Because when you know what you stand for, you can't be shaken so easily. You have something solid beneath your feet. You move with clarity, you act with conviction, and even when things feel uncertain, you'll know you're not lost. You're simply growing. That's why it's so important to check in with yourself. Get clear on your values, then look closely at your actions. The more your choices align with what matters most, the more whole you'll feel. And when you live from that wholeness, you no longer need to chase success or approval. You're already living with purpose, and that's where true fulfillment begins. Perfection, on the other hand, is a trap. Many chase it, but no one ever reaches it. It sounds noble to want everything just right, to never fail, but perfection only keeps you stuck. It convinces you that you're never ready, never good enough, never allowed to begin. You wait for the perfect moment, the perfect idea, the perfect version of yourself, but that moment never comes. And while you wait, life keeps moving. What really matters is progress. Progress means you're moving, trying, learning. Real growth doesn't come from flawless steps, but from small, imperfect ones. No one who accomplished something meaningful did it by being perfect. They started before they felt ready, made mistakes, learned from them, and kept going. Even when it was messy, especially when it was messy. Think about any skill you've improved, any habit you've built, any goal you've pursued. At first, you weren't good at it. You stumbled, but you didn't stop. You kept learning, kept practicing, and eventually you got better. That's how all success is built. Every expert was once a beginner. Every polished result began as something rough. Every masterpiece began as a messy first draft. Yet perfectionism tries to convince you that you can't start until everything is figured out. It whispers that you'll be judged, that you'll fail, that your flaws will be exposed. It makes you believe perfection is the only way to be enough. But the truth is, perfectionism doesn't protect you. It holds you back. It's fear wearing a mask. Fear of not being good enough. Fear of what others might think. Fear of failing before you even begin. But here's what matters. You are enough, even while you're still learning. You are enough while you're figuring it out. You don't need to be perfect to be worthy. Progress doesn't require flawless steps. In fact, it's the imperfect moments that shape you into who you're meant to be. What counts is showing up, taking the step, sharing your work even if it's not flawless, speaking your truth even if your voice shakes, trying something new even if you're unsure. Because done is always better than perfect. Movement is always better than delay. Action, no matter how small or messy, beats standing still. So let go of the pressure to always have it together. Let go of the idea that everything has to look a certain way. Instead, give yourself permission to be in process, to be human, to grow through the mess. There's magic in the mess. There's beauty in the trying. Confidence isn't built from waiting, it's built from doing. Each time you choose progress over perfection, you get stronger. You prove to yourself that you can handle mistakes, that you can learn, and that you can keep going. Over time, those small steps will carry you further than perfection ever could. So take the pressure off. Begin, even if it isn't flawless. Start where you are, use what you have, and do what you can. The magic isn't in a perfect result. It's in the courage to begin. That's where true change lives. That's where you find your strength, not in perfection, but in progress. Surround yourself intentionally. The people you spend time with matter more than you may realize. They shape how you think, how you feel, and even how you see yourself. This isn't just a saying, it's backed by science. We are deeply influenced by our environment, and that includes the people we interact with daily. If you want to grow into your best self, you must pay attention to who's in your circle. Think about the people closest to you. Do they inspire you, support you, and remind you of your potential? Do they encourage your growth and push you to keep going when life gets hard? Or do they leave you drained, doubting yourself, and stuck in old patterns you've tried to leave behind? This isn't about blame. It's not about being harsh or cutting people off for no reason. It's about being honest with yourself about the energy you allow into your life. You deserve people who lift you higher, not hold you back. People who reflect where you're going, not where you've been. Growth is already hard enough, but the right people make the journey lighter. When you're surrounded by those who believe in you, something shifts inside. You begin to believe in yourself more. You dream bigger. You stop settling. That kind of support changes everything. But here's the truth. Not everyone will understand your growth. Not everyone will celebrate your wins. Some may prefer you stay the same because it feels safer for them. And that's okay. You don't need everyone to understand, but you do need to protect your space. Be intentional about who you let in, because not every voice deserves a place in your mind. Not every opinion should carry weight. Your time, energy, and attention are limited, and it's your responsibility to guard them. This doesn't mean you must walk away from everyone who doesn't share your goals. It simply means staying aware and setting boundaries where needed. Spend more time with those who help you grow and less with those who make you shrink. Choose to be around people who speak life into you, who challenge you in healthy ways, and who want to see you win simply because they care. Your circle should reflect the future you want to create. If you want confidence, spend time with people who believe in themselves and lift others up. If you want focus, connect with people who are building something meaningful. If you want positivity, limit time with those who only complain and lean toward those who see possibility. The right people can change everything. They don't just make you feel better, they help you become better. They bring out the version of you that is brave, kind, and full of purpose. They remind you of who you're capable of becoming, especially on the days you forget. So take a look around. Who's helping you grow, and who's holding you back? Be bold enough to make changes where you must. It's not about being perfect, it's about being intentional. Your environment shapes your life, and when you surround yourself with the right people, you don't just move faster. You move forward with strength, clarity, and joy. Give without expecting. Real fulfillment doesn't come from what you collect or achieve. It comes from what you give. And not giving to look good or to get something back, but giving from the heart, simply to help, support, and make a difference. That kind of giving is powerful. It changes lives, including your own. When you give without expecting anything in return, your mindset shifts. You stop focusing on what's missing and start seeing how much you already have to offer. You realize you don't need to wait until everything in your life is perfect to show up for someone else. Even in your struggles, you still have something to give, a kind word, your time, your presence. And when you give from that place, you don't just lift others, you lift yourself too. Giving doesn't require money or grand gestures. Often, the most powerful gifts are the simplest ones. A few encouraging words to someone hurting, a moment of real attention in a distracted world, sharing a lesson with someone just starting out, or simply letting them know they're not alone. These things cost nothing, yet they can change someone's day, sometimes even their life. The more you give, the more you realize how much you already have. That's the secret. Giving creates abundance. It reminds you that you are not empty, not powerless, but someone with something valuable to offer. And from that place, you grow. You begin to see yourself not just as someone trying to get through life, but as someone who can make an impact, even in small, quiet ways. And the beautiful part? Often, the good you put out comes back. Not always from the same person or in the same way, but energy moves. Kindness released into the world usually finds its way home. The best thing is, you're not attached to the outcome. You're not giving to receive. You're giving because it's who you choose to be. In a world where so many ask, what can I get? It's rare and powerful to be someone who asks, what can I give? That simple question opens doors, deepens relationships, and adds meaning to your everyday life. When you show up to serve, not from pressure but from love, you begin to feel more connected, more alive, more grounded. And giving doesn't have to be grand or loud. It can be quiet, gentle, as simple as being fully present with someone who needs you. These small moments matter. They build trust, bring light, and add depth to your story. So when you feel stuck, empty, or unsure of your next step, try giving. Not to fix everything, not to distract yourself, but simply because you can. Because it reminds you that you're still capable of making a difference, still part of something bigger than yourself. Giving without expectation frees you. It lifts the weight of needing constant return. It shifts your focus from lack to purpose. And when you live from that place of generosity, service, and quiet strength, fulfillment stops being something you chase. It becomes something you carry with you every day, in every small act of kindness, in every choice to show up with heart. Forgive and release. Holding on to anger and resentment may feel like protection, but in truth, it only hurts you. It's like carrying a heavy weight every day, believing it will fix the past. You think it keeps you safe, but really, it keeps you stuck. You replay the same stories, the same pain, hoping that holding on will make it right. But it never does. The longer you cling to it, the more space it takes in your heart. Space that could be filled with peace, love, and healing. Forgiveness isn't about saying what happened was okay, or pretending it didn't hurt. It's about choosing peace over pain. It's about saying, I won't let this control me anymore. When you forgive, you release the anger and hurt so you can breathe again. You're not excusing the wrong. You're simply refusing to let it hold power over you. And yes, this choice can be difficult. Some wounds cut deep. Some stories live inside you for years. But healing begins the moment you decide you no longer want to carry that burden. Forgiveness gives you back your power. It allows you to stop pouring energy into what's already gone and start focusing on where you're going. And forgiveness isn't just for others. It's for yourself too. That part is often the hardest. You may replay decisions you regret, the people you trusted, or the chances you missed. But remember this. You were doing the best you could with what you knew at the time. You're not the same person anymore. You've grown, you've learned. Holding on to guilt or shame only keeps you from becoming who you're meant to be. You can't build a better future while punishing yourself for the past. Self-forgiveness doesn't mean avoiding responsibility. Self-forgiveness means being honest with yourself, taking responsibility, and then choosing to move forward with greater wisdom and compassion. You deserve to grow. You deserve to feel light again. So ask yourself, who do you need to forgive today? Maybe it's a parent who hurt you, even if it wasn't intentional. Maybe it's a friend who let you down, or someone who never gave the apology you deserved. Or maybe it's you, the version of yourself who didn't know better, who was afraid, who made choices you regret. You don't need anyone's permission. You don't need them to say sorry. Closure isn't something they hand you. It's something you create for yourself. You get to decide when the pain no longer writes your story. You can say, I'm done carrying this. Forgiveness isn't weakness, it's strength. It clears the path for peace and opens the door to freedom. And it's not for them, it's for you. You don't have to forget what happened or pretend it didn't hurt. But you can choose not to let it hold you back anymore. With every step toward forgiveness, you reclaim a part of yourself, lighter, freer, stronger than ever before. Many people think success is loud, dramatic, a finish line with applause. But true success rarely looks like that. Real success is quiet. It's built from small choices, tiny steps, and daily effort, most of which no one ever sees. It's choosing to try again when quitting would be easier. It's doing the right thing when no one is watching. Those small wins, the ones that seem too minor to matter, are the very building blocks of something greater. They are the reason you grow. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, every time you take even the smallest step forward, you are building success. And when you pause to notice and celebrate those steps, you give yourself extra fuel to keep going. That's not arrogance, it's honoring your effort. Too often, we skip over our progress. We push toward a goal for weeks or months, and when we finally reach it, we barely pause. Instead, we rush into the next challenge, already thinking we need to be better, faster, stronger. But when you don't stop to acknowledge your wins, you lose the chance to feel proud. You miss the reminder that your effort is paying off. And what happens when you keep overlooking those victories? You start to feel like nothing is ever enough, like you're always behind. That mindset drains your energy. Yet when you slow down and say, that mattered, even for a small step, something shifts. You feel more motivated, more grounded, more aware of how far you've already come, not just how far you still have to go. Celebrating doesn't need to be a big event. You don't need trophies or fireworks. Sometimes it's as simple as pausing to smile at your effort, taking a moment to say, I did that. Whether it's waking up early when you didn't want to, choosing a better habit, or showing up for something that once scared you, that's a win. That's progress. And progress is the real path to greatness. You don't have to wait until the finish line to feel proud. You can feel proud right now, in the middle of the climb, while you're still working, still growing, still learning. Greatness isn't built in a single day. It's shaped through thousands of small days when you chose to keep moving, even when you didn't feel ready. As you start to notice these small wins, your trust in yourself grows. You begin to see you're capable, even if the results aren't massive yet. That trust fuels belief, and belief creates momentum. And momentum will carry you further than you ever imagined. Not because you sprinted, but because you stayed steady. So take a moment today. Look at how far you've come. Think of the quiet victories, the habits you've reshaped, the thoughts you've challenged, the steps you've taken. Let yourself feel proud. Let yourself celebrate. Because success isn't only about the big finish, it's everything you did along the way. And when you learn to honor that, the journey becomes just as meaningful as the destination. That's when it becomes dangerous, when you start to believe you've done enough. Because the moment you think you've made it, you stop pushing. You stop learning. You stop growing. Success can quietly turn into a comfort zone. And if you're not careful, comfort can slide into complacency. The people who truly go far, the ones who remain at the top for years, understand this truth. They never see success as the finish line. They treat it as a checkpoint. They celebrate it, but they don't let it stop them. Why? Because they've learned something essential. There is always more to learn, more to give, another level to reach. And that mindset doesn't come from ego. It comes from humility. Humility keeps you grounded. It reminds you that you're never too good to listen, never too experienced to learn, never too successful to make mistakes. It keeps you open. It keeps you teachable. Without humility, success can go to your head. You start thinking you know it all, ignoring feedback, missing warning signs, and eventually slipping. Not because you lack talent, but because you stopped growing. But humility alone isn't enough. You also need hunger, that fire inside that pushes you forward. Hunger keeps you curious. It keeps you moving, waking up with purpose. Hunger whispers, there's more in me. I'm proud of what I've done, but I'm not done yet. When you're hungry, you don't settle. Not out of greed, but out of belief in your potential. Because true growth has no finish line. The strongest people, the ones who keep improving no matter how much they achieve, carry both humility and hunger. They stay humble enough to admit they don't have all the answers, and hungry enough to keep asking questions. They celebrate their progress, but they don't live in the past. They honor the work they've done, yet continue showing up for what's next. That balance, that mindset, is what creates lasting success. Even if you're just starting your journey, this lesson matters. Maybe you've hit a goal or made progress. You should feel proud. But don't stop there. Don't let one victory make you forget the bigger picture. And if you've been winning for a while, don't let success trick you into thinking you're finished. Growth isn't a season, it's a lifestyle. The truth is, the people who are unstoppable aren't the ones who never fail. They're the ones who never stop learning. They don't pretend to know it all. They stay curious. They don't chase perfection. They chase better every single day. They keep their ego in check and their drive alive. So wherever you are right now, whether you're just starting, rebuilding, or riding a wave of success, stay grounded. Keep your eyes open. Keep asking how you can grow. Let your wins encourage you, but never stop you. Keep climbing. Keep stretching. Stay humble. Stay hungry. When you do, the journey never ends. It only gets better. Lead with integrity. Integrity means staying true to your values, no matter who's watching. It's not about doing the right thing because someone else is keeping score. Integrity is about doing the right thing because you believe in it, because it matters to you. It's about being honest, even when it's difficult. It's about keeping your word, even when no one would notice if you didn't. Integrity is who you are when the lights are off, when the crowd is gone, and when you're alone with your choices. This matters more than many people realize, because everything you build, your friendships, your work, your goals, is only as strong as the trust holding it together. And trust isn't something you can buy. You earn it slowly, day by day, decision by decision. People don't trust you just for your talent. They trust you because your words match your actions, because you show up when you say you will. They trust you because you take ownership when things go wrong, and you don't cut corners just to look good. When you lead with integrity, people feel safe around you. They know you're not pretending or saying what simply sounds good. They know you mean what you say, and they can trust you to follow through. That creates something powerful, real connection, real leadership, real impact. You don't have to be perfect, but you do have to be consistent. You must stand for what's right, even when it costs you something. The truth is, the right path is often the harder one, but it's also the one that builds a foundation you can be proud of. Integrity also means being honest with yourself. When you mess up, own it. When you fall short, don't hide it. Growth doesn't come from pretending. It comes from responsibility and learning from mistakes. People respect those who are real, who admit when they're wrong, and who work to make it right. Lasting respect isn't built on the image of perfection, but on the practice of honesty. It's easy to live with integrity when everything is smooth, but the real test comes when life gets tough, when the pressure is high, and cutting corners could give you a quick win. That's when your true character is revealed. Will you stay loyal to your values, or take the easier path? Will you do what's right, even if no one else would ever know? Being a person of integrity isn't always rewarded in the short term. Sometimes it means walking away from opportunities that don't feel right. Sometimes it means disappointing others because you refuse to bend your principles. But in the long run, integrity always wins. It builds a life you don't have to explain, a name others respect, and a path you can walk with your head held high. The world needs more people who lead with truth, people who stand firm in what they believe, who choose what's right even when it's lonely. That kind of leadership is rare, but powerful. It inspires others to rise to the same standard. Because when one person stands with integrity, it gives others permission to do the same. Be that person, the one who doesn't just talk about values, but lives them, who shows up with honesty even when it's hard. That is real strength. That is real success. And that is how you build something that lasts. Make peace with the past. You can't move forward if you're always looking back. Imagine trying to drive a car while staring only in the rearview mirror. You wouldn't get far. You'd miss what's right in front of you. That's what happens when you live stuck in the past. The past is meant to teach you, not trap you. Yet so many carry it like a heavy bag filled with old pain, failures, and regrets. That weight holds them back from stepping fully into who they're meant to become. We all have moments we wish had gone differently, words we wish we hadn't spoken, chances we wish we'd taken, times we wish we could change. But no matter how much we replay them, the past won't change. What's done is done. The real question is, what will you do now? Finding peace doesn't mean pretending the pain never happened. It doesn't mean forgetting what went wrong. It means accepting it, saying, yes, that happened. Yes, it hurt, but I won't let it control my life anymore. It's about freeing yourself from the grip of old stories that no longer serve you. Too often, we hold on to outdated versions of ourselves. The one who failed, the one who messed up, the one who felt lost. We replay those memories like a broken record, as if they define who we are. But they don't. You are not your lowest moment. You are not the mistake you made years ago. You are not what happened to you. You are who you choose to be now, in this moment. And here's the beautiful truth. Even with all its pain, the past gave you something valuable. It gave you wisdom, strength, and lessons you couldn't have learned any other way. That doesn't mean the hurt was fair, but it does mean you can choose to use it, not to punish yourself, but to grow. Not to stay stuck, but to move forward with a clearer heart and a stronger mind. Letting go of the past doesn't happen overnight. It's a process. It begins the moment you recognize when you're still carrying a story that keeps you small. Maybe it's time to stop telling yourself you'll never change, that you're not enough, or that it's too late. Those stories may have come from pain, but you don't have to keep repeating them. You can write a new one, a better one, based on who you're becoming, not who you used to be. Growth begins when you stop letting yesterday steal the energy you need for today. When you stop pouring all your focus into what's already behind you and start seeing what's still possible, something shifts. Your next chapter is unwritten. Your future is waiting for you. Not perfect, not complete, but ready for you to show up willing. You get to decide how the rest of your story unfolds. You get to leave behind what no longer fits. You can rise, even if you've fallen. You can be more than what you've been through. So let go, not because it didn't matter, but because you matter more. Make peace with what was. Be gentle with who you were and step forward into what can be. The past is a teacher. Learn from it, but don't live in it. You weren't made for memory. You were made for movement. So take a breath, let go, and begin again. Protect your energy. Your energy is one of the most valuable things you have. It's not only about how much sleep you get or how many tasks you finish in a day. It runs deeper than that. Your energy is the force behind your focus, your creativity, your clarity, and your peace. When it's strong, you think more clearly, connect more deeply, and move through your day with intention. But when it's low, even the simplest tasks feel heavy. The problem is, many people don't treat their energy with care. They give it away without noticing. They let small things drain them. Constant distractions, arguments that don't matter, habits that lead nowhere, or people who only take but never give back. Before long, they start the day full and end it empty, wondering why they feel stuck or uninspired. The truth is, if you don't protect your energy, you can't expect to feel your best or give your best. It begins with awareness. Notice what fills you up and what wears you down. Some people bring light into the room and lift your mood with just a few words. Others leave you drained after even a short conversation. This isn't about blame, it's about honesty. The same applies to your habits. Some routines sharpen your focus and give you direction, while others scatter your energy and waste your time on things that don't matter. If you want your life to move closer to your dreams, you must stop negotiating with what drains you. You don't have to be available to everyone and everything. You don't have to answer every message right away. You don't have to say yes to things that pull you away from your values. You owe no one an explanation for protecting your peace. Setting boundaries isn't rude. It's wisdom. It's how you stay clear, grounded, and connected to what truly matters. When you learn to say no without guilt, you create space to say yes to what really counts. Protecting your energy doesn't mean shutting yourself off from the world. It means choosing wisely. It's about surrounding yourself with people who uplift you, who challenge you in healthy ways, and who support your growth. It's about spending time in places and building routines that make you feel alive instead of drained. And when life inevitably gets busy, you'll be grateful for the solid foundation that keeps your energy steady. Think of your energy like a bank account. Every person you interact with, every choice you make, every thought you entertain is either a deposit or a withdrawal. Spend all your energy on things that don't nurture your peace or growth, and you'll always feel something is missing. But use it wisely, protect it fiercely, and refuel it daily, and you'll move with clarity, confidence, and focus. This also means being mindful of the energy you give out, not just what drains you. Your energy is contagious. It touches every room you enter. So ask yourself, what kind of energy do I bring? Is it calm, encouraging, or focused? Just as you want to be around people who lift you, others are hoping to feel that from you. Protecting your energy includes managing the energy you send out. You don't need to be everything to everyone. You only need to take care of the one person you spend every moment with, yourself. You can't give your best to your goals, relationships, or purpose if you're always running on empty. So slow down when needed. Say no when it's right. Make space for rest, joy, and stillness. Guarding your energy isn't selfish, it's necessary. When your energy is strong, you move with confidence, speak with purpose, think with clarity, and attract better opportunities. So protect it, feed it, and share it wisely. Let your energy be the light that lifts both you and those around you every single day. 26. Master emotional control. You can't always control what happens around you. Life will surprise you. Plans fall apart, people let you down, and emotions rise. But here's what matters. While you can't control every situation, you can control how you respond. That choice is where your power lies. Emotional strength isn't about pretending everything is fine or pushing feelings aside. It's about allowing yourself to feel them, but not letting them dictate your actions. It's about being aware of what's happening inside without losing control on the outside. That's emotional mastery. It's not coldness, it's clarity. Think of your emotions like the weather. You can't stop a storm, but you can prepare for it. You can bring an umbrella or choose to wait it out. The same is true for anger, sadness, fear, or frustration. They may show up, but you always decide what happens next. And that decision changes everything. When you react without thinking, you hand over your power. You might say something you regret or make a choice you wish you hadn't. But when you pause, even for a few seconds, and take a breath, you create space. Space to think clearly. Space to respond instead of react. That space is where strength is built. The most grounded people, the ones who lead well, live with peace, and keep moving forward, aren't free of emotion. They've simply learned to work with their emotions instead of against them. They practice awareness. They know when to speak and when to stay silent, when to lean in and when to step back. They don't get swept away by every emotional wave. Instead, they learn to ride it. And here's the truth. That kind of control doesn't just appear overnight. You build it one moment at a time. It begins with awareness. Pay attention to what triggers you. Notice how your body responds. Do you feel tightness in your chest when anxiety shows up? Do you raise your voice when anger takes over? Do you shut down when you're hurt? Get curious about your patterns. Write them down. Talk about them. Understand them. The more you know about your emotional habits, the more power you have to shift them. Of course, you won't always get it right. There will still be times you snap or shut down. The difference is, you'll catch it faster. You'll recognize what's happening. And every time you choose to pause instead of react, to speak with intention instead of anger, you strengthen that muscle. Like training in the gym, the more you practice, the stronger you become. It's just as important to give yourself grace. Emotional mastery doesn't mean perfection, it means progress. Some days you'll feel proud of how you handled things. Other days you'll wish you could rewind. Both days matter. Both teach you something. The key is not to quit. Keep learning how to hold your power, even when emotions feel overwhelming. Remember, real power doesn't come from controlling people or circumstances. It comes from leading yourself, your thoughts, your reactions, your emotions. That's what sets you apart. That's what helps you stay steady in the storm. So keep showing up. Keep noticing. Keep choosing your response. That's where true growth is found. That's where your peace lives. And that's how you step into the kind of strength no one can take from you. 27. Trust divine timing. There are moments when it feels like you're behind. No matter how hard you try, your dreams still seem far away. You look around and see others reaching their goals, moving ahead with ease, and you wonder, why not me? That doubt creeps in, making you question your timing, your path, even your worth. It can feel heavy, as if you're doing something wrong. But here's the truth. You're not behind, and you're not late. You're on your own path, unfolding exactly as it's meant to, even if it doesn't look that way right now. We live in a fast-paced world where everyone shares their wins, their highlights, the big celebrations. It's easy to compare yourself and feel like you're not enough. But what you see is only part of the picture. You don't see the hard days, the silent struggles, the setbacks they never talk about. And just because someone else is crossing their finish line doesn't mean you've missed yours. Life isn't a race. It's a journey, and every journey is unique. Sometimes the road to your dream takes longer because you're being prepared for something greater. Sometimes the delay isn't punishment, it's preparation. You may be learning patience, building strength, or gaining clarity. You may be growing into the kind of person who can truly handle the dream when it finally arrives. Because getting what you want before you're ready can be just as difficult as not getting it at all. Timing isn't only about what you desire. It's about when you're truly prepared to receive it. When you begin to trust that timing, when you stop trying to control every step and start believing that life is happening for you, not against you, everything shifts. You no longer force what isn't meant for you. You stop chasing people or opportunities that don't fit. You stop rushing just to feel caught up. Instead, you move with peace, with purpose, with patience. This doesn't mean sitting back and waiting for life to happen. It means working hard without panic, showing up for yourself every day, even when the results aren't visible, staying committed, even when the path feels unclear, planting the seeds, watering them, and trusting they will grow, even if you can't see the progress yet. Because real growth often happens in silence, in the unseen places where no one is watching. And when you stay consistent through those quiet seasons, something deep builds within you: strength, character, and faith. There will be days when it feels like nothing is happening, days when you wonder if it's even worth it. But those are the days that matter most. Anyone can keep going when success is obvious. It takes true courage to keep moving forward when you're still waiting. That kind of belief, the faith that shows up in the dark, is what creates real transformation. That's what turns hope into results. And life notices. The universe sees your patience, your effort, your quiet work. It may not reward you immediately, but it never ignores you. Every step you take is building something greater. Every day you choose to keep going is a step closer to your breakthrough. It may not happen on your timeline, and it may not look the way you imagined, but when it comes, it will be right. It will be yours. One day, you'll look back and understand why things unfolded the way they did. The delays will reveal their purpose. The detours will show their meaning. Even the closed doors will prove to be blessings in disguise. You'll realize nothing was wasted. Not the waiting, not the wondering, not the hard days. Every moment was shaping you for what's ahead. So keep trusting, keep moving forward, keep showing up. Your journey isn't broken. It isn't behind schedule. It's simply unfinished. And what's meant for you, the dream, the opportunity, the moment, it's still on the way. When it arrives, you'll be ready because you didn't rush. You grew. You stayed the course. And now it's your time. Step into your power. Right now, there is a stronger version of you waiting to be seen. A version more confident, more focused, and more powerful than you've ever known. But you won't meet that version by playing it safe. You won't grow into that person by clinging to comfort or avoiding challenges. You step into that version of yourself through daily choices. The choice to show up, to stretch, to speak up, and to move forward even when it feels uncomfortable. Growth isn't a one-time decision. It's a commitment you renew every single day. It's waking up and deciding your future is worth the effort. It's knowing that staying the same might feel easier, but it won't take you where you want to go. And growth isn't always loud or dramatic. Most of the time, it's quiet. It looks like doing what's uncomfortable, saying no to old habits, saying yes to new ones, walking away from what no longer fits, and leaning into things you're still learning. Here's what stepping into your power truly means. It means owning your story, all of it. Not just the good moments, but the hard ones too. The choices you're proud of and the ones you've learned from. It's about standing up and saying, "This is me," even when parts of you are still unfolding. It means not hiding the mess, not shrinking to make others comfortable, and not waiting for permission to feel whole. Your power doesn't come from perfection. It comes from honesty, from showing up real, even when your voice shakes, your hands tremble, or the path ahead feels uncertain. Acting like the person you want to become doesn't mean pretending. It means practicing. It's asking, how would the future me show up today? And then doing your best to live that answer. You don't need to wait until you feel ready. You don't need to have it all together. The strongest, most powerful people didn't start with unshakable confidence. They built it one step at a time, through courage, through mistakes, through effort. You don't need perfection to begin. You just need to begin. Maybe you've been waiting for the right time, for someone to push you, for something to click. But the truth is, no one is coming to save you. Not because you're unworthy, but because you don't need saving. The strength has always been inside you. Even in your hardest moments, it was there. Even when you doubted yourself, the power remained within. It's not gone. It's been waiting for you to claim it. You are capable. You are worthy. You are enough right now. Not once you hit the goal. Not once you receive the praise. Not once you look a certain way. You are enough as you are, even as you grow into more. And yes, you're only just beginning. There's so much ahead of you. Dreams you haven't even imagined. Strength you haven't yet needed. Parts of yourself still awakening. But none of that comes from standing still. It comes from stepping forward again and again. Even when the next step feels shaky, take it. Speak your truth. Try the thing. Fail and try again. Build the dream. Not the perfect one, but the real one. The one that reflects your heart, your fire, your values. Because the world doesn't need more polished perfection. The world doesn't need more people pretending to have it all figured out. It needs you. Fully alive, fully expressed, fully powerful. It needs your voice, your courage, your truth. It needs your creativity, your passion, your ideas. It needs the version of you that is done playing small. The one who's ready to stop waiting and start creating. The one who knows they may not feel ready, but chooses to move anyway. It's okay to feel afraid. It's okay not to have every answer. But don't let that hold you back. Let it shape you. Let it grow you. Every step you take toward your growth is proof that you're in charge of your story. No matter where you've been, you get to choose where you go next. This isn't about becoming someone else. It's about becoming more of who you already are, taking everything you've been through, everything you've learned, and using it as fuel to step into your most powerful self. So if there's a dream on your heart, follow it. If there's a truth you've been holding back, speak it. If there's a version of you that feels bold, brave, and ready, let them out. Stop waiting. Stop shrinking. You don't need to prove anything. You just need to be willing to grow. This is your time, your chapter, your moment to move forward. Not perfectly, but powerfully. The future you isn't far away. They're only one decision, one act of courage, one honest step closer. Go meet them. They're waiting, and already proud of how far you've come. Wishing you health, happiness, and growth. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel, Mindset Daily.